This is a response to my mother's son's response post. My selfishness ruined my family on support for Wayward. I'm a regular on Reddit, so I'm using a throwaway because I really don't want any of the people I know in my social life to know that this is me. I strive to keep my past a secret. My college friends don't know that my dad was in prison, nor do I care to tell them. So when I walked around campus and heard a lot of people talking about this post and sharing it, it brought back a lot of emotions that I have been trying to overcome. So I looked it up, and there was enough information provided to know that it was about my family, and it angered me. I reached out to my mother, who began with the damn waterworks, and I yelled at her. When I went to see my dad and told him what I did, he yelled at me. My father is a good man. He only yelled at me for cursing. My mother tells me that I may not love my mother, but I need to respect her. It's hard to respect someone like that. My father always struggled. He would drill into our heads that we should be grateful for growing up in an area where we wouldn't get attacked for getting good grades or for getting caught reading by the kids who would jump you for wanting white things like going to college. He told us it was like that for him in the South Bronx. My aunts told us how he joined a gang at 13 just so he could be left alone while he went to school. When he was 15, his father passed away from cancer, and my father had to be a surrogate parent to his two sisters. Since there was no life insurance, he worked and did what he had to do in order to help pay the rent and put food on the table while still attending school, but my dad would smile and tell us that they would work it out. He would tell us that mom was probably really stressed at work and bringing it home, and I believed that, especially when she quit her job. I honestly thought it was her job that was the problem. Then my dad was arrested. Mom, do you know the embarrassment we felt when the entire school was talking about what happened? My dad was arrested because my mom couldn't keep her legs closed. I couldn't bear to look at you, which was why I went to stay at Grandma's house. The sight of you disgusted me. And when I visited Dad, he couldn't bear to look at me. He was ashamed. He told me he failed as a husband and failed as a man. I told him he didn't, but he said he did because a man would have thought about the consequences of his actions before doing something so stupid, and he failed as a husband because his wife slept with another man. I told him to please look at me, and he wouldn't. Then you had the audacity to ask us for forgiveness. For the first time in my life, I wanted to physically hurt you. We all were hurting, and you wanted forgiveness. When I sat in that trial, listening to that 911 call was the worst 25 minutes of my life. 25 minutes listening to my father, who would have killed and died for you, crying, asking the operator for help, telling the woman that he thinks he just killed someone, listening to that woman talking him down while hearing him say over and over, "The love of my life cheated on me," hurt us more than anything. I know you try to act as a character witness for Dad. We all told you not to do it, and you did it anyway. Why? Did you want to show us that you still loved him? Tell the court that he's a good man? Because in my opinion, that cross-examination where you told everyone how long you were with him was why we lost him, why he was sent to jail. And I believe if we had an actual lawyer instead of an appointed one, he would have walked. I had anger issues because of that. My brother became a closet alcoholic. One of the twins was suicidal, and you didn't notice. All you wanted was to try and fix things with Dad, leaving me to keep my siblings afloat. I hated you. In some way, I still do. When I went to college, I wanted nothing to do with you. Like my father, I had to be a surrogate parent to my siblings. I was working a full-time job, going to college, and sending you money to help pay the bills. I don't know why you made it look like you were doing it on your own, Mom. I know it was hard. I know you were really depressed, but you had help with the bills. And Grandma did defend you, but she only did it because everyone was against you. At least that is what the twins believe. When Dad got stabbed, I almost had a nervous breakdown. I had just seen him that day. I was poking fun at how muscular he got, and we had a good laugh on what Dad called the prison body plan. He made it sound like a fun commercial. I was halfway back to school when I got the phone call. I nearly crashed the car because my brain turned off. It was hard for everybody. I didn't tell anyone this, but I sat outside the Saab's apartment. I wanted to beat him up so badly, but when I saw him walking with that cane, I remembered what Dad said and drove off. As the years passed, Grandma died, then Grandpa a few days later from broken heart syndrome, and Dad couldn't attend the funeral. Did you know that both his sisters got married in the waiting area just so he could give them away? The damage you've done to all of us is tremendous. And it didn't help that you kept asking us to forgive you, to give you another chance. You never gave us room to comprehend, to heal. You just kept asking, and all I see is that you wanted to make yourself feel better. You didn't give a damn. You didn't try, you just gave us space and acted as if we were supposed to suddenly act like we were normal again. Yes, you did try in the later years, but didn't during the time you were supposed to, when it was the most important. When Dad got out, he told us to start talking to you, told us that you were a good mother to us and therefore we should show you some respect. So we did, and it made you happy for a while. I remembered what it was like not to hate you. Dad was having issues trying to find work at first, but one of his old clients hired him. I didn't expect the twins to throw that bomb at you. Dad did not want you to know he was out, so when you appeared, it really bothered him. He threw up after he spoke to you. He said the very sight of you sickened him. As for your statement in your post about that ex-wife coming to see Dad, she's been coming to see Dad weekly for over 3 years, and they've been spending time together since he got out. So please stop building a castle in the sky of the two of you getting back together. If you want to talk about this, call me. If you want to fix things with your children, call me. What you did last week, posting what is arguably the worst moment in our lives, is pure selfishness, as your title suggested. I told Dad about this, and he doesn't care. He said you're just the mother of his children, nothing else.